WA7YBS here.
6BCT, W6JR1.
300 cycles high. Oh well. Not really sure if Chuck's going to be net control today or not. We'll see. And anyway, this is WA7YBS. So far I've heard Mike, W7MS. Good morning, Mike. Good signal in here. Number 2 I heard was Jerry, W6JRY. Good morning, Jerry. Good strong signal in here. And number 3 is Bill, N6BCT. And Bill is coming in here Q5. Not real strong though, but still Q5. So I haven't heard anybody else, so let's see what's going to happen. And first let's see if Chuck is out there. K0DWC, are you going to be net control today? Good. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. Chuck has some back issues, and he's kind of laid up for a while. So we just were kind of in a wait and see mode to see if he was going to be able to do the net today, but it doesn't look like it. So I will be net controlling on the military radio net. And as said, this is Henry, WA7YBS, Gable, and this is the Vintage Military Radio Net Roundtable AM group. Let's been licensed. Hams operate their vintage military radio gear on the air. And of course, vintage military radio gear isn't a prerequisite. If you want to check in with what you got. Subject conversation generally is about vintage military radio gear, and of course there will be an examination at the end of the month. See if you've been paying attention. So with that, let's see. We got Mike, W7MS, in the number 1 spot, Jerry, W6JRY, in the number 2 spot, Bill, N6BCT, in the number 3 spot. Let's see if there's a number 4 present. If you want to check into the Vintage Military Radio Net, do it now. Wow. Crickets. Didn't hear anything. Well, let's shoot it over to Mike. Have a little bit of a chit-chat here. We'll go around real quick once and see if we got anybody that wants to check in. I'm on the big rig, 300 watts output. Got a new mic, microphone. Let me say that's a new microphone. Not new, but different. This is a Shure 55S Unidyne. So I'm wondering how it sounds, if it sounds any different than the old Electro Voice 664 sounded. Anyway, looks good on the scope. So we'll see what happens. Let's do a quick round. Mike to Jerry, Jerry to Bill, Bill back to me. W7MS, go ahead, WA7YBS.
Well, thanks, Henry, with a little bit of a delay for the dynamotor, at least 50% dynamotor power here on the GRC-19. WA7YBS, W7MS, of course, again, good morning, Jerry and Bill, and we'll see what else happens. Maybe there's a post-swap meet hangover, but everybody's sleeping in this morning. But sorry to hear about Chuck. He's been such a busy guy between the seasonal maintenance, refurbs, property work, and not to mention the 51 Ford Deluxe. So I'm sure he'll be A-okay, but we know he's been extremely busy, so that's great. So I decided to run the GRC-19 this morning because Robert was on his, I believe, last week, as my elderly memory recalls. And it was time to fire up a carbon microphone here and give this guy some exercise. Yeah, I think we're about 300 hertz out. but we're still in the preheat drift mode with the GRC 19 since we were a little slow in preheating. And then proceeded to fumble around and wonder why there was no audio coming out of the R392 and said, oh yeah, that's because I've got the 600 ohm speaker sitting with the auto-tuned RCAF Canadian transmitter receiver. So, you know, just another busy day here at W7MS. But glad I could meet my obligation, because when you gave me the handshake yesterday, Henry, and said, see you tomorrow, I knew that I had my marching orders. But and we'll continue on with swap meet stories maybe for round 2. So over to Jerry, W6JRY, W7MS.
Okay, Mike, W7MS, and the rest of the small group here. Good morning, Henry, and good morning, Bill. Everybody, pretty good signals. Bill's down a bit, but Q5, no problem there. And you guys are sounding good. Henry, the mic sounds good. I don't remember exactly when you were running the big rig, what it sounded like right at the present time. I'm not sure. I can't do a comparison or anything, but it sounds really good. And if the other one was as good, well, anyway, either one of them, I would suppose. We're on the ATD Navy ART-13 this morning. I haven't dusted it off for quite a long time. Hope it's still working. Looks like we're putting out just right at 100 watts output, and using the Navy RBM4 receiver. So that's the equipment here today. It's the usual antenna, delta loop. That's up here. We've been really busy with yard stuff going on. It just seemed like there was a lot of growth of brush and different things around the place that needed cleaning up. In the last couple of weeks, I've been plagued with some power line noise that's come back when things drying out. It's one of these when it gets warm situations. I start getting some pretty bad power line noise, and they've done a lot of work around here power line wise, and doing a lot of things, replacing a lot of stuff and so on. And I think they've actually, I think, created some noise here that I didn't have before, and I haven't really had a chance to do any looking or anything. The problem is when it's intermittent, you know, when you finally get a hold of PG&E or ever get somebody out or whatnot, you know, then the noise isn't there. I'm waiting for it to really show up. Anyway, maybe some of the guys are doing something for Mother's Day, which is today. That's one thing that's going on. Oh, anyway, we'll put it over to you there, Bill, and see how you're doing today and see how you're copying. N6BCT, W6JRY.
6BXY.
Stand by, Vern. I got you. K6VXY.
And then those two up to 100, and 25 watts failure level, and it's great to have you guys. I miss Dan, W6MIC, because it's been a long time ago that he just went away, and shoot it up the back. Anyway, yeah, well, that was good. My brother John Grant, because I'm 93 years old, and my wife is still years old, and I haven't been able to interact with her, but I feel very, very well. And
Okay, Bill. N6BCT, WA7YBS. Okay, good copy on everybody. Okay, I heard Vern in there, K6VXY. Yeah, Vern, you're number 4. I'm going to turn it over to you in just a second, but let's see if we can get some other stations logged in. Number 5 is open, Vintage Military Radio Net. If you want to check in, do it now. I guess it really is swap meet. Okay, let's turn it over to Vern. K6VXY. Go ahead, WA7YBS.
Hopefully I sound okay here. This is K6VXY.
Well, I wonder if Vern is smoke testing his regulator tubes.
Okay, well, Vern, I heard your voice a few times. Yeah, I assume that's the Marauder. And so we'll come back to you and make sure that you sound like you're hitting the push to talk quite a bit. Maybe that set operates on Vox. Hard to say what time you got it set up. But I assume that I seem to remember that the Marauder did have Vox capabilities. But at any rate, we'll check back with you in a little bit. We'll see if there's somebody else out there who wants to get into the Vintage Military Radio Net and be number 5. If you want to check in, do it now.
I don't know what's caused that. Maybe it's a switch. K6VXY using the Marauder on low power.
I don't know if I doubled with you. You were in the midst of talking once the receiver recovered here. But, yeah, what I heard sounded fine there that time. So stand by there, Vern, and we'll... well, why don't you go ahead and make a transmission and then turn it back to me. K6VXY, go ahead and make a transmission, turn it back to me, WA7YBS. Go ahead.
I'm only running full power because I haven't got all the linear steps, so I'm running about, peaking about 20 watts. But the Marauder's on the air. K6VXY using the Marauder. I still need to put in a few more groups. I think the finals. It's a little weak on the power output. If I had the linear, it'd be just perfect. But this is the Marauder using an M444 microphone. I don't know all the voice if it's the right amount, because I can vary the mic gain here and affect the amount of audio. But it's working. New tube, 11 karat here, and it's working. I have not got the that I'm running about it. That'll be on next time. Hopefully the sound's okay. I did monitor it and said I sounded okay. But there's something loose here. It's lined up in California, running about 20 watts or so. And this one has control carrier screen modulation. I was surprised. I didn't know that, but it has also positive modulation. Using control carrier cause the output to go down. What they do is take the lower sideband signal in this one that's been generated and then put it on the
gotta get the D104 hooked up. I'll do that during the week and get my TR relay going. I got an LP I can use, so I think that'll make everything fine. But I'm using a switch now for transmit receive, but anyhow, I know it's working good now because the SWR is 1-to-1. So, let's see, using the dipole, only at 10 to 20 watts here. I guess you can hear me. So Chuck wanted to hear a marauder. He's hearing it. Finally, I think forever. Got a lot slower in this stuff. Anyhow, over to you, Henry. Thanks. I'm glad you're the first one I talked to on it. And Chuck will probably be one of the first. H6BXY, and I'll go back to WA7YBS Net Control.
Well, okay, Vern. Congratulations. It sounds good. And, you know, it sounds different than your, what you normally run, that modern rig. But it sounds good. And it sounds, you know, it sounds like the vintage that it is. What is that? It's probably early 60s or so. Single sideband transmitter that can do AM. It sounds like that's the type of rig it is, and that's not a detrimental report or anything. It's just you know, it's got its sound and it sounds good. Your you know, the quality of the reproduction of your voice is good, and you know, you're very, very. I didn't hear really any distortion or anything in it. It sounded just fine. So for 20 watts, you're putting in a pretty good signal here, and so congratulations on the Marauder, and good to hear it on the air. And it takes time, you know. All of this stuff just takes time, and you don't want to rush through it. You don't want to rush through this kind of stuff because you know, you hurry, then you rush, and it leads to mistakes. You always should double check everything that you do as you're doing it, and that way when you power them up the first time they work. But anyway, let's see if we can get somebody else. Let's see if I mean, I wouldn't think that swap meet would have you know, required a day in bed to recover, but let's see if there's anybody else out there, and I guess we'll see what happens. Vintage Military Radio Net, number 5 is open. If you want to check in, get in here on round 1. I'll do it now.
Whiskey Romeo 6 Juliet.
Now, voice from the past, WR6J. I know I've heard you before. We'll check into the net before, but I don't remember the particulars off the top of my head. So let me turn it over to you, and we'll see what they are. WR6J, WA7YBS. Go ahead.
WA7YBS Net, WR6J. Thank you for remembering me, Henry. I appreciate that. About 2 or 3 years ago, it's been quite a long time. I operate from my boat, and I had to sort of take down all my rigs for going onto the boat, but over the last few weeks I got myself set up again, and I'm currently operating a homebrew 6136 single tube rig that's feeding an SD200 amplifier. And the 6136 is between coach and full modulated articulate single-ended tube output transformer that can be driven by a solid state controller. And on the output side I've got a doubler up and out. Thanks a lot for having me on the network. Sometimes I'll be getting a real home and I want more room, and I would like to start watching vintage music and always interested to hear about
Yeah, I remember you operated from your boat and stuff, but I don't remember the name. Can you pass along the name and your QTH? Go ahead. Okay, Richard, very good. And yeah, good signal from the homebrew 6146 driving SP200. And a wire up on the mast for your antenna, fed with open line. Very good. Let's see if there's anybody else out there. Number 6 is open, Vintage Military Radio Net. If you want to check in, do it now. Okay. As mentioned, yeah, I'm running the W6MIT homebrew 4-250A, 2,000 volts on the plate, driven by a pair of, or modulated by a pair of 572Bs, and of course the exciter is the exciter out of a T368 military transmitter. And so that's the, and then we're feeding a 130-foot center-fed inverted V. Good, you know, like Richard, we're feeding it with open feed line going to a Johnson matchbox. And the receiver is a Raycal RA6117A. And of course the 6 in there means it's made in Maryland, made in the United States. And it's the American version, Raycal Communications, of course, of the RA117. When they're made in England, they're the RA117, but the American-made ones are RA6117. So anyway, it's a Raycal receiver, and a great receiver. And let's see, my take on the swap meet there, it was pretty good. Very well attended. I think there was between 25 and 30 sellers, and lots of stuff, lots of it. And it was, you know, there was boat anchors that were in the double digit, and I mean, they were nice ones. Saw very, very well. Not that anybody wants it, but I did see an HQ 129 that was very near mint for, I think it was $80 or so. And there was a Hammerland SP400 Super Pro, very late, post-war Super Pro, and that was $40. Of course, there's no power supply or power cable for it, but pretty cheap. I saw a guy packing off a HRO60. I'm sure that was a bargain. And so there was lots and lots of very, very reasonably priced gear there, and lots of parts, and it was, you know, lots of familiar faces. Got to visit with Mike, of course, and with John and 9AMI, Wavelength Radio, and KB7VT. Mike and I know who that is. That's Moz. But, and a lot of the others that are always at the Reno swap meet. So it was very well attended, a good get-together, lots of stuff. I only came back with one thing, and it was given to me. And what can I say? I couldn't turn down a freebie, but it was a 1924 Federal battery set. So that was it for me. Let's check one more time and see, before we get the swap meet report from Mike, let's see if there's anybody else that wants to check in here to the Vintage Military Radio Net here. So number 6 is open. If you want to check in, do it now. Okay. Let's get Mike's report on the SNARS spring meet. W7MS, WA7YBS, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Henry, with a moment to let the half the set come up. WA7YBS, W7MS. Well, good morning to Richard. Great to hear him again. We certainly remember his station there in the slip in Redwood City. So great signal into Reno. Nice to hear him, and the fact that he's going to be land-based and military radioactive here in the near future. Also, congratulations to Vern. When it was working properly and sounding great. So congratulations on your sea trials with the Heath kit. But congratulations. And Henry, forgot to comment. My blither blather on your audio, it sounds excellent. Without an A and B comparison, to get critical critique, but or head into wine tasting descriptions, it sounds excellent. So no excuses needed or offered there. It sounds great. And swap meet report, yes, the social activity is always a plus, and I think it can be aggravating for my venue as a seller because I'm never there because I'm circulating, and quite often it's not necessarily making a purchase, which I would say did occur yesterday. But generally, you get wrapped up in conversations, walking the chain of sales, and it's a lot of fun. I guess one comment from the local ham club table, the $5 table. Of course, I had to buy that J38 key for $5 and add it to the pile of J38 keys. So it's that's kind of tradition. You can't pass up the $5 J38, but. A few other odds and ends, but I came out with some positive cash flow, not some great doorbuster sales, but it was good. And as promised, since nobody wanted my free NC300s, one of them is currently in the garbage can, and the other one is waiting for a successive garbage day to get launched to the Lockwood landfill. So that's kind of the highlight. And I guess the winner of the pounds per price, of course, is our wavelength radio benefactor N9AMI and the purchase of the B&W station, literally the B&W station. So congratulations to him. And to quote someone else that's in the circle of military radio collectors, John's got it real bad. And what can you say? He made the plunge. So congratulations to John on the B&W purchase. So with that, over to Jerry, W6JRY, W7MS.
Okay, W7MS and the group W6JRY. Good morning there to you, Richard, and good morning to Vern. Both copyable here. I got some QSB here today, which has been very typical with all the bands here for months. Just a continuous thing too. But copyable, Vern, when you finally come on and things stayed together, it sounded fine. The radio that you're using now, and this Marauder. I remember the name, but I don't remember much about it. I'll have to look that up. And anyway, Richard there with the homebrew 6146 and SB200 amplifier. So all okay on that. Let's see here. Yeah, we've been getting on the air a bit. I spent some time yesterday, about half a day, doing the yearly crossband Army, Navy, military crossband event that they have once a year, and give me a chance to do some rapid split type of operations with the 7300 that I've been using now for my main station radio. And one of the other projects that needs to get done here, and I had it done here before, was getting a chain back on my prop pitch motor that drives a Selson, and for the indicator on my 60-foot tower here. It's the one that I have 3 different antennas on, a 3-element tri-band beam on that one, and a 6-meter homebrew job, and a 2-meter antenna on it. But for years I've had that prop pitch motor, and now I don't climb anymore, and I have to rustle up somebody that climbs towers, and I finally got one friend that he lives up in Redding, and stopped by, and about every 10 years I have to replace the chain just for the indicator. But the darn thing will get wet, damp, and so on, and rust up and get stiff and rusty, and then it'll snap. So anyway, I sent him up with a new one and everything, and he put it together, and we aligned the indicator from the shack and so on, and everything was okay for a while. He left, and after about a day or two, it either broke or come off or jumped a track or something. So I don't know exactly what happened up there. So kind of dead in the water getting that antenna turning and being sure where it's at. Another project needs to be taken care of along with a lot of other ones. Okay, on your local swap meet over there, Henry, sounds typical from, I think, the way the swap meets are going. So many of the younger people, I think one of the biggest problems is they don't have any room to put any of this stuff. So, a lot of them aren't getting into homes or live in apartments and can hardly afford to rent and that type of thing. And, I've offered some equipment here to people around, the younger people and so on, but they don't have any place to put it. So that's one situation. And radio equipment, ancient radio equipment now, it really falls in line with a lot of other antique type things, Grandma's old sewing machine and all that type of stuff. Young people don't want that stuff nowadays, so that's kind of one of the problems. So anyway, let me get it passed on there to you, Bill. I was just checking my notes here, and I hope I covered everything. I'm sorry to hear about Bill. I just had a brain fade. Chuck with his back situation. I hope he gets that straightened out. I've been living with that situation for years myself, and sure no fun. That's why I don't have any real big stuff around here anymore. Okay, over to you there, Bill. N6BCT in the group W6JRY.
N6BCT, Bill, are you there? Okay, I heard a carrier for just an instant, 1 second or so, maybe something tripped out there at N6BCT, but we'll catch him on the next round. Go over to Vern, K6BXY. Vern, when you're done, turn it to Richard, WR6J. And Richard, turn it back to me, WA7YBS. So K6BXY, go ahead.
Oh, it's working. I discovered yesterday this K6BXY. just a Daiwa switch for the transfer for now. I got everything worked out. I got it. It's going to work the Alchemy relay and all that. And I thought, well, don't mess with it. If they can hear me with 20 watts, then I'll hook up the linear. But I still want to replace the 6146. I should be putting out about 80 watts. And there's a couple other tubes I'm suspicious of. Those glowing white old tubes stock, the new ones don't glow. They're just there. I got power, I got quick current, I got link current. I got some notes on this unit about saying to use the output power when you're running a don't worry about the fact that you may not be getting link current on the final as you should. So I've done that. And they're pretty close to the same spot. And I wasn't sure how much to modulate, but I guess I'm okay. So I'll be running eventually what you've got going there, I'll turn it over to you. But I have an SB200 here, which I've been using for, well, a couple of years now. And I plan to drive that with the Marauder, or use the Marauder barefoot. I think running the Marauder down at 20 watts would be fine, or actually I run it down at 10, because you got a drive level control here, and I've got it all the way up, and I'm getting this amount of power. And on Morse code, or CW, it gets out about, I'd say it's closer to about 40 watts. So it's cranking pretty good there. It's got great current, link current, all the normal stuff. I like this unit because I always like the looks of it. And I thought back about when I went to the friend's house. I went to the College of San Mateo after high school, my first education. I was in the electronics program. And this guy, there was a few hams in that group. I remember making a trip one time. Yeah, it was Labor Day weekend with a friend from school. By that time, I had graduated, just about to go in the Navy. And anyhow, I was at another friend's house from school. He was just married. He was just a little older. He was around 20, 21 years old. And he had this kit. He wanted to show it to me. And it turns out it was a GX1. Had to have been, because the year I saw it was, I believe, 1960 or 61. I can't be sure. And this one didn't come out until after. But I like the looks of this one better than the Apache. The Apache, I read reviews on it, that has a really strange mechanical type tuning thing. They had a disc that rolled around as they were keeping music for a while with different bands. And the guy was on YouTube showing how you fix it, but he said it's a pain to work with this, so I thought, let's try that Marauder, because it looks better. I like the color design, the way they changed it just slightly. I just like the looks of it. It's got all this stuff for box, you name it. So, anyhow, let's see, got it tuned up, and I'm speaking about 4 inches away from the microphone. And, boy, those microphones, those 2-pin microphone plugs, I got the second one for the D104, which I'll be using next time to test it. The D104 is recommended by this article by people that use the Marauder, because it's matched up fine, and use that. They have a push to talk on it. It's a grip to talk. Nice looking mic. So I'm glad this thing is working, and you can hear me okay. But you'll hear me better when I got more power, I think. But who knows? I don't know. I think the receiver is receiving okay today, but the signals sound a little distorted. shorted. I'm not sure why that is. There's some feed-through coming from the Marauder. Because the switch itself, when you switch it to one side, it couples the antenna line, whatever. You switch the other side you're not using, which is the receive side. It shorts it out, which is a nice safety thing. So I don't have to worry about blowing up the receiver. And the receiver still is, I thought, 7200. I haven't got aggressive enough to go all easy. And I did have an SP303. I like that. That went to fire. Here, and also I do not have this inside. They do not recommend the fan that comes with the unit. Buy a different one, so I could ask around on that. I remember there used to be these muffin fans. They ran off 110 volts, and there's a little plug there. It'd be real easy to install it. But I do have the Marauder, not in the case, outside the case, to let it breathe. And I got a few tubes to change. I got to change 60 WA, and I think I'm going to go and do the finals because everything is, they're getting all the signals. There's just not much power. I had that problem with the AL811s I had. Boy, what a difference it made on the SP200 and put a set of new 572Bs in it. Boy, which is, I'm coasting on the power on it. I don't, it's capable of a lot more, but if you can hear me, I'll keep the power down. I don't want to, you know, this stuff is precious. It's hard to replace, blow anything up. So over to the new guy to me, Richard, I assume you can hear me. If not, I guess Henry can help with the transfer. I'm turning it over to Richard, who's also running 6146s and an SP200. So it's WR6J. It's K6. Here's why. Go ahead.
WR6J. Vern turned it over to you, Richard. Go ahead.
Henry, I'm listening on the KFS SEL. I believe I heard Bill travel with you. So he did come back to you, but he thought it was the most step money registration. So
propagation sounds great. Good audio, good modulation, very nice. And let's see, that happens a lot with Bill, and especially if I have a QRN up here, which there is a little bit today. It's solar noise, it's atmospherics. But yeah, I sometimes will miss Bill. Normally I can copy him 100% most of the time, but every once in a while, especially as we're getting later and later into the year and more towards summer propagation conditions, it becomes more and more difficult. And the band is right in flux right now. It is changing. So I think what we'll do is we'll wait on Bill and we'll pick him up in the normal round where Jerry turns it over to Bill, and we'll see what happens then. We'll go ahead and I wanted to mention a project that I'm working on, which is the write-up on the British World War II direction finding hut, and it's called Station DF number 2. And that used a pair of receivers in the hut, which I have, which is the reception set 106 and the reception set 107. And the R106 is easily recognizable. It's an HROM, with a lot of British mods put into it. So it's an interesting receiver because it was sent over to England as a standard HROM, and then it was modified to work in this DF, direction finding hut. And of course the the reception set R107 is quite a large receiver, 95-pound receiver, and it's a monster, a British monster. And so it's an interesting set. It uses spray-on shielding on the tubes, which I talked to you guys at the swap meet yesterday about, to Mike and Ron, about how they sprayed this metallized paint, conductive paint on the tubes for the RF shielding, and it does really make a difference. I was able to find the conductive paint and do that because the paint has a tendency after 80 years to just fall off of the tubes, which it did. So anyway, the article is coming out pretty soon. I'll probably upload it next week. So anyway, that's that. And let's go ahead. Oh, I wanted to say to N9AMI, to John, that I think he got the buy of the swap meet, certainly, if not the buy of the year. That was a beautiful BMW 5100 station. It was nice, very nice. Transmitter, sideband adapter, and a linear amp. A great purchase and a great price. And look forward to hearing that on the air one of these days. So with that, let's do the 73 round. As I mentioned, the band is changing, so we'll see if we can get it wrapped up before propagation goes out the window. W7MS, 73 round, Mike, WA7YBS.
Well, we'll keep it short. WA7YBS, W7MS, and to continue on the carbon mic audio mode, we're in a T17F 1954 contract, so it doesn't modulate as deep as the commercial Shure microphone, but we decided to try this since it was another purchase from yesterday out of the Hammond Hi-Fi junk pile for $5. So that's the setup here. Unissued. It was appeared to be new old stock, or at least entered civilian service as never issued. But with that, we'll say 7 3s, and I did hear intermittent doubling on your last transmission from Bill, so I don't know what to say, and I won't say it. But over to Jerry at 7 3s to everybody on frequency, W6JRY, W7MS.
Okay, fine, W7 MS in the group W6JRY. I changed radios here. I couldn't. I didn't hear Bill. I had some actually QRM that come in. The RBM doesn't have that great a selectivity, although it's better in the VC348. It does have a broad and a sharp position there, and so we're over on the 75A4 receiver, which was quite an improvement on reception. The QRM and noise and so on was kind of giving me problems there with Vern and Bill. But anyway, once I switched setups here, well, things are a little bit better. Although the QSB is really getting deep here now. So typical, as Henry says, this is the time of year we have this type of stuff. So pretty much got everything on everybody's comments there. Henry, okay on the DF number 2 RDF setup there that you're dealing with, and I do remember seeing some of those, some of the older tubes, like you're mentioning there, painted with some type of a silver paint. I remember seeing that back in the day. So 73s to all. Everybody have a good day and remember their mothers, and hopefully we'll see everybody on the next weekend. So over to you, Bill, if you're still copying me here, and everybody have a good rest of the day. N6BCT in the group, W6JRY, 73s, we'll listen out. Well, I don't hear Bill.
Let me make a call to them. N6BCT. Go ahead and make a transmission there, Bill, if you can copy me. Well, I don't hear him either. Maybe he'll transmit when I'm transmitting. But we'll see. Well, let's go over to Vern. Vern and his Marauder, which is sounding good there, Vern. That sounds pretty good. K6VXY, WA7YBS.
I don't know what that SWR was initially. I have to get the thing again with some more contacts there. The dial is off on this unit. It needs DFO calibration, but I'm not concerned about it. I'm concerned that I can spot with it. I can use my ICOM with the digital readout to get myself on the right frequency. So, and I'll probably use it mostly in this mode. But I'm very happy. I tell you, I was down there for a while. Gee, I can't fix anything anymore. Finally, I started messing around with it, throwing some switches. But wait a minute, there's a CW signal now. Where was it? And I'm wondering if it just needs some more cleaning. But also, there was an additional relay on the output here of this router, and there's a little power supply and light bulb. And the additional relay is a 12-volt direct current DC relay. So they may have added a TR relay to this thing. I got to figure that out. But it works, and I see the meter that's on the Marauder kicking up as I talk. I see my SWR meter. I'm using the lower power one, 300 watt one, and I've got it on the 30 watt full scale mission, and it tuned up. It's funny, I forgot which pin I disconnected was my proper pin, so I started messing with it. And I think about it, I have an MFG 259 that was open right away. See how I got my listening last night on 80 meters.
WR6J WA7YBS. Yeah, you got a really good sounding signal. Great audio. And so anyway, yeah, I hope you can check back anytime. And Vern, good job. You just need a few little more minor little things that you're working on them there, but it seems to be getting pretty reliable there by the third transmission or so. Came right up, no problems. And but yeah, the QSB is getting pretty deep. Bill, I don't know what to say. We can't copy you, so we'll listen for you next week. Jerry, good signal, and always welcome here, and hope to hear you next week. Mike, good to see you yesterday. Good little chat. I like the sledgehammer on top of the NC300. Nice touch, and well-deserved. That's what most NC300s need, is a sledgehammer. With that, I'll say 73. Thanks, everybody, for your participation in the WH Military Radio Net. And I don't know who will be net control next week. It will probably be Carla or Chuck. We will see. Carla, of course, is W4DV2. Chuck is K0DWC. So, with that, 73 all around, and this is WA7YBS. I'll be closing the WH Military Radio Net and signing off.
Yeah, W7.